Israel. They said they launched a series of ballistic missiles targeting Israeli military sites. Israel confirms missile strikes in the centre of the country, also tonight. Tiger Woods is released on bail following his arrest on charges of driving under the influence.
The chance to deliver again, and it's Miedemar again!
And in the Women's Super League, it's a Derby Day win for Manchester City in their quest for another league title.
ITV News with Geraint, Vincent.
Good evening. Yemen's Houthi rebels have confirmed they've launched ballistic missiles at Israel. They described the attack as a direct military intervention in support of Iran. The US and Israel have meanwhile carried out intense airstrikes on the Iranian capital Tehran as the conflict enters its fourth week. Amy Lewis has the latest.
This firefighter attempts to comfort a toddler he's just rescued from inside the rubble. But how do you explain this to a small child? In Tehran, screams and sirens are becoming as familiar as the flattened buildings. Overnight, there were more strikes on Iran's capital, a month on from the start of this conflict. A grim milestone that was marked with explosions and the expansion of this war as Yemen's Iran-backed Houthis entered the conflict.
In view of the continuing military escalation against our brothers in Lebanon, Iran, Iraq and Palestine, the Yemeni armed forces have carried out their first military operation.
Houthi involvement risks broadening this war given their ability to disrupt shipping lanes. And that could put more political pressure on the US president. If he's feeling it, it isn't showing.
They have to open up the Strait of Hormuz. Fake news will say he accidentally said, there's no accidents with me.
This war is claiming yet more lives, and its fallout is extending far beyond the Middle East. Amy Lewis, ITV News.
Well, events in the Middle East continue to have a knock-on effect here, of course, and as fuel prices rise, there's a warning of temporary shortages from one of the UK's leading supermarket retailers. Saba Chowdhury is at the filling station this evening. Saba, what are prices looking like today?
Good evening. Well, the cost of petrol at this pump is now over £1.55 per litre, and diesel is almost £1.90 as the war continues to hike up prices, and it's consumers that are feeling the impact.
These are the biggest rises we've seen since the start of the war in Ukraine, so pretty hard for households to cope with. We obviously have the big Easter weekend coming up, so it's going to make that a bit more expensive, unfortunately, for those who are planning to go away.
Is there enough supply to go around? Many have been asking. Well, according to Asda's executive chairman, Alan Leighton, the odd pump at his supermarkets have been, he says, temporarily without. He's also said that it's clear that demand is outstripping supply. But experts are being very clear as well, saying that there is no need to panic buy fuel, they say, because the overall amount of petrol and diesel available is stable.
OK, Saba, thank you. Tiger Woods' latest golfing comeback is in doubt after his arrest in Florida after a car crash. The 15-time major winner has been released on bail. Graham Stothard is here. Graham, what's the latest you have on this?
Well, on one side, Geraint, he's actually very lucky. He was involved in a serious car accident which saw his car flip onto its side, but he escaped not seriously injured, as well as the other driver as well. He was, of course, arrested. Police say he showed signs of impairment at the time, although hours after he was released and driven away from the sheriff's office he had been taken to. He wasn't driving himself this time, of course. This is what happened the last time he was in control of a vehicle. ended up on its side. Police breathalyzed him there. That came back all clear, but when they tried to do further tests, he refused, and so he was arrested and charged for driving under the influence. Now, you'll recall this isn't the first time he's been involved with the police. In 2009, he crashed into a fire hydrant outside his house. That led to intense scrutiny on his private life. In 2017, he pled guilty to reckless driving after being found asleep at the wheel of his car with prescription drugs in his system. And 5 years ago, he was involved in another crash which saw him needing emergency surgery. He was actually staging a bit of a comeback recently. He's managed it before. He won a Masters amid all that carnage in 2019, and he was looking at the one coming up in 2 weeks' time as well. And that now, of course, is really in doubt.
OK, Graham, many thanks. A new report has linked meningitis to 159 deaths in the UK in just 1 year, among nearly 260,000 deaths worldwide in 2023. The National Pharmacy Association has called for an immunisation catch-up service to be rolled out for teenagers who've previously missed out on being vaccinated.
In the UK, as we've seen over these past couple of weeks, there's a gap in our otherwise good NHS vaccination schedule. That's around protection against main B. And of course, globally, there's a lot to do where healthcare systems are not as advanced and not as well resourced as our own.
And an 18-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of arson after a major fire at a Grade 2 listed mill in Staffordshire. The building had been derelict for several years. A planning application had been submitted to convert the building into apartments. Sport now, and on Derby Day in the Women's Super League, Manchester City have taken another step towards landing the title thanks to a comprehensive win over rivals Manchester United. Chris Scudder was watching.
Within touching distance of a first Women's Super League title in 10 years, City had their cross-city rivals United scrambling for cover inside the opening 20 seconds at Old Trafford. Viviana Miedema has seen it all in the women's game and was head and shoulders above United's backline. The home defence did not learn their lesson, and the WSL's all-time leading goal scorer repeated the trick 2 minutes later.
Chance to deliver again, and it's Miedema again!
City's support never get bored of getting one over on United, and they would have been out of sight by half-time, but for a third-headed goal being ruled out by the referee. But it made no difference. Kirsten Kasperai completed the 3-0 rout, and surely nothing can stop them now. 11 points clear at the top. City need just 5 more points from their final 3 games to be sure of becoming champions. Chris Scudder, ITV News.
The actor James Tolkien has died. He was 94.
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker.
He was best known for playing tough-talking Mr. Strickland in the Back to the Future trilogy, but he also played Commander Stinger opposite Tom Cruise in Top Gun. He died peacefully at his home in Lake Placid. And that's all for now. I'm back with the late news at 11 o'clock. Enjoy your evening. Bye.